Knowing the best decks each patch is always nice, also knowing which is the most popular ones is valuable knowledge as well. This can be useful for either seeing what decks people enjoy using the most and maybe get a bit of inspiration for the kind of deck you might want to try yourself, but it's also useful to know which ones you'll be facing most of the time and therefore know how to counter these decks and basically take advantage to basically climb the rank ladder. The play rates and win rates in this video are taken from Moba Analytics using data from patch 2.1 so far. So without any further ado, let's dive in. This is patch 2.1, the most popular decks. This video has been done in collaboration with BomberTV. Please remember to like and subscribe and turn on the bell notifications too. So let's dive in. This is Zoe Lee Sin Targon and features cards from Targon and Iona. It's a very spell heavy deck featuring 23 spells in total. Has a lot of low cost cards too, with 23 costing 2 or less mana. The deck is fairly expensive with 6 epic cards. This deck is the finest example of how a combo deck can work. You want to survive against aggro decks and you want to get your combo out as fast as possible against control decks before they get to their late game. The combo here is to level up Lee Sin, cast Zenith Blade on his ability so it hits the Nexus and removes the blocker, and then with the Overwhelm from Zenith Blade, Lee Sin will actually hit the Nexus, making it an unblockable double attack, which seems broken and to be honest it probably is. You would think that this is really simple and easy to achieve. In theory it is if you can survive long enough. For this we have cards like Sparklefly and Eye of the Dragon. Sparklefly and Eye of the Dragon's Draglings both have lifesteal, so you'll consistently summon Draglings with this as the deck has so many low cost spells. Buff your lifesteal cards up with spells like Pale Cascade and Bastion to make their damage bigger, meaning your lifesteal heal is also bigger as a result. Next, we want to level up Lee Sin, and to do this we have to cast cheap spells, and cards which generate those cheap spells, for example Mentor of the Stones who can create gems, or Pale Cascade once again, as this is just 2 mana. Then occasionally you may have removal spells of challenger cards trying to take out your Lee Sin, and aside from his obviously natural barrier you can get through his ability, you can also cast protections like Deny or Bastion once again. With the introduction of Zoe, the Lee Sin Targon archetype got some changes, but essentially plays out the same way. Zoe can generate super cool star charts which contributes to Lee Sin leveling up, so it's not really key to the theme of the deck, so she basically acts as a glorified follower. So overall this is a very skill based deck and in the right hands can be absolutely devastating. My prediction is the novelty of Zoe combined with the old but still present excitement from the rework that Lee Sin got quite a while ago is what makes this deck so popular in the meta of patch 2.1. So next patch I expect this deck to possibly disappear from this list, but who knows, maybe, well, I reckon it will be gone. This is Discard Aggro, a deck you definitely recognise from previous deck lists. It features cards from Piltover and Zorn and Noxus and features 3 different champions, Teemo, Draven and Jinx. You can include 2 or any 3 of the combination here. The average mana cost is very low with 23 cards costing 2 or less and 14 costing 1 or less. The most expensive card in the deck is Augmented Experimenter. The deck plan is quite simple. Against slow decks, try to finish your opponent as early as possible before they get their endgame. Against aggro or mid-range decks, you can try and win the race against them to see who can finish faster, or you can go for the value approach granted by the leveled up Jinx. Of course, you need to first draw her and then level her up. As the name suggests, the deck is all around discarding, so cards which you can both discard and draw are very desirable, such as Zornite Urchin and Rummage. The deck has a lot of options, smart plays, and therefore is a very skill based deck. First of all, it's always important to know when to discard a card and what ones you should be discarding altogether. For example, there are obvious discard targets such as Flame Chompers, Jury Rig and Vision, and these are pretty straightforward what to discard. As for the when to discard a card, Jury Rig can be useful to summon a blocker or attack at burst speed, either punishing their open attack or to go in for the kill. The same goes for discarding Flame Chompers at burst speed, although it is much more useful to remove a big blocker so that your other units can basically go in and do what they need to do. Vision should be used to go in for the kill and take your opponent off guard, or to complete trades. This can almost be a win condition in some situations. With the new addition of survival skills, Discard Aggro seems to be getting a lot of love from Riot at the moment, and continues to be one of the best spots in the meta. Even if this list doesn't run survival skills, I would still suggest experimenting with it. Discard Aggro is very consistent and doesn't receive a nerf no matter what, but only gets new cards that suit the archetype or buff to the existing ones, meaning that more and more players simply convert to this deck every patch that gets released, and this looks like it's going to be the case for patch 2.1 as well. Fiora Shen is primarily a Demacia deck which also features 13 cards from Iona. It's a mid-range deck which takes advantage of two keywords, Barrier and Challenger. So in other words, revolves around very simple combat where you're doing favourable fights and protecting your units. It's a fairly expensive deck featuring 5 epic cards. Value and flexibility are the keywords with this deck. Take as many value trades as possible, which is very easy with challenges such as Screeching Dragon and Fiora. Screeching Dragon is a great common card from the last expansion, and Fiora can simply act as a cheap free power challenger card here. Try to give them barrier with cards like Shen and Riposte. Shen gives a supported ally barrier this round, and Riposte gives an ally free damage and barrier this round as well. There are also lots of tricks to take advantage and punish your opponent with, like single combat and sharp sight. Note they both involve combat to kind of fit in theme with the deck. Single combat obviously allows a favourable fight, and sharp sight makes sure you're buffed enough to kill over a key unit or survive a key fight. If value doesn't win you the game, you always have the Fiora win condition, which is easily achievable with all the protection barrier cards you have in this deck, including Iona cards such as Spirit's Refuge, so overall a very solid deck fitting most playstyles and players. This deck's been staple for the longest time now compared to any other deck really that I can remember in the meta, and it does not look like it's slowing down in patch 2.1. Most of the returning players will probably have already crafted something similar, and its consistency over time makes it a very safe investment for new players as well. So that probably explains why it's been so popular. So I expect this to stay popular till the next major balance change in patch 2.3 at least, but I wouldn't be surprised if it stays popular even longer. And there we go guys, did you expect these decks to be the most popular in patch 2.1? Ezreal Draven was on the list last time, but has since been replaced by Discard Aggro, which is ever present in the meta with its kind of aggressiveness and very easily accessible cards. Is there any decks that you're seeing loads of at the moment that isn't in this top 3 list? My guess is Twisted Fate Fizz Elusive, as this is popping up quite a lot at the moment. This deck has a high play rate, but it's simply not in the top 3 play rates that this deck looks at. The data presented here is analysed by BomberTV using Moba Analytics. He's a Masters tier player with a background in game theory and game design. He took the most winning archetypes into Master tier, excluding ones with small play rates, analysed their key properties on why they are so strong. Link to his channel is in a pinned comment and in the card above. What do you think the best deck is in patch 2.1? I would love to hear in the comments. I've recently set up an Instagram account, @LawGuides, and I'll be doing a giveaway shortly. Please follow this account for see posts about new videos, and for being a chance of winning this giveaway. Please remember to like and subscribe, and turn on bell notifications too. See you next time guys.